What's up, One Pride family? It's your boy King. Um, got a season preview for y'all. Got a roster update. Also, I got my predictions that I'm putting in before week one. I got a lot of info I want to share, and these are just my thoughts. Um, I'm not saying that I'm just a professional at picking teams and predicting things, but these are my thoughts. So just keep that in mind. Um, I'm gonna start off with my prediction. My prediction for this season for the Detroit Lions is I would say at the worst 10-6. Um, I believe they would go probably 11-5 or at best 12-4. Those are my predictions for the season for the Detroit Lions, and that's not just because of last season. That's because of me analyzing the schedule that I got right here in front of me. I'm gonna do a quick rundown on the schedule right quick. If people haven't seen it yet, you got week one at the Chargers win. Uh, you got week two at Vikings win. Broncos at home, possible win. Um, Playing at home, first home game. It's a night game, national TV, not national TV. No, as a matter of fact, national TV. What am I saying? Um, the Lions tend to show up on national TV during night games. I remember watching the Bears game and the Ravens game. So with this roster, I definitely think they got a chance. I'm not a believer in the Broncos. A bunch of choke artists, if you ask me. So that's a possible win to me. But you got week four at the Seahawks, and that's going to be tough. I mean, flat out. I'm not going to even say win because I'm a Lions fan, but I mean, just knowing football and being professional about it, that's going to be a tough task at the Seahawks, especially with that new roster that they have. It's going to be a good battle, I believe. Defensive battle. I believe Elodie Nada can do a pretty good job at keeping Marshawn Lynch from going beast mode. So I've watched previous games with the Ravens and Seahawks. So we see what happened during that game. Of course, Golden Tate got a lot of I'm not gonna say animosity, but he's probably gonna want to show his best against the Seahawks. So that's gonna be an interesting game, probably one of the best games of the season. So that's a question mark for me. The Cardinals at home, I feel like you have to beat the Cardinals at home. You have to. That last time we played the Cardinals, it was a fluke that the Cardinals beat us. This team is a totally different team. It's led by Jim Caldwell. I feel like, especially after seeing what I seen last year with all the injuries and being in a new system and still being able to manage to go 11-5, I feel like they have a good chance with a lot of these teams on this schedule. So, Cardinals at home, Bears at home, and you got the Vikings at home. I see that as three straight victories. The Bears are not for real. They don't have anybody. I mean, the roster is nowhere in comparison to what the Lions have right now. So, and it's a home game for the Lions. The Vikings are still young. They still got they got some time before. Well, I feel like they still got some time before they become a threat. So although that's three wins there, but then you go and play the Chiefs in week seven. Oh, week eight. That's a question mark. The Chiefs. I feel like the Lions are a better team as far as the roster, but you playing a away game. At the Chiefs house. So you never know when it's a road game. So that's a question mark for me. But you got the bye week in week nine, and then you have a chance to get recuperated and well rested to go against the Packers at Lambeau Stadium. Um, Playing them a little bit earlier this year, I don't think it would be as cold as it's been. Um, of course, that's the factor at Lambeau when the Lions play them. I mean, you expect a inside team to go in Lambeau Field and just win a game when it's probably like -10 outside. So that's. I feel like this is the year finally. That they can go in there and get a win. I'm not buying that crap about they missing Jordy Nelson and they can still be the same team they were last year. I don't think so. Um, they do have Randall Cobb, but that's Randall Cobb. Jordy Nelson was that when we played them last year, we had to stop Jordy Nelson. We didn't. We had to stop Randall Cobb too, but we had to stop Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson was the guy. So with him out for the year, and them going to get James. I mean, not a big threat to me. Eddie Lacy is the threat, and we have a run stuffer on our team now, and Nada. So like I said, it'd be an interesting battle. I honestly believe that this is the year. If Lions stay healthy up until that point, they have a really, really good chance of finally beating the Packers in Lambeau this year. But that's not a guarantee. That's just my thoughts. So, uh, week 11, you got the Raiders at home. It's the Raiders. I mean, I know it's the NFL, but come on, man. The Raiders ain't for real. I mean, it's the Raiders. You got the Eagles at home. That's a question mark. And in later reviews, I'm definitely going to, analyze the Eagles because I feel like that offense is crazy right now, and I don't want to solely base that on the preseason games that I saw, but, Chip Kelly, he built that team to play a certain way. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens when we play the Eagles in week 12. We got the Packers again in week 13 at home. We can beat the Packers at home. Um, we definitely can beat them at home. We've proven that already. Um, like I said before, with the Lions roster being what it is right now, I honestly believe they can beat the Packers twice this year. Twice. I know that's a lot. I'm going out on a limb to some people, but that same old Lions stuff, that don't apply to me. This is a whole new year and a team that is more knowledgeable in the system that they're in now, and know how to play together a little bit better with the kind of improved roster. So I think they can beat them twice this year. Um, I mean, this schedule is you have some games on here that's question marks, but the schedule is not hard to me. A lot of people say the Lions have a tough schedule. It's not really tough to me because after you play the Packers, you got to play the Rams, which is not real to me. You play the Saints, um, probably gonna blow the Saints out. Um, but then you got the 49ers and the Bears at the end of the season. Bears suck. 49ers got like 3 players on their roster. So, like I said, at worst, I see the Lions going 10-6, and that's with losing to Seahawks, Broncos, Packers, and probably I would say the Eagles. Um, you play Green Bay twice. That's 2 losses. You play the Broncos and the Seahawks. That's 4 losses. Um, and then you got a chance to lose against the Eagles. I would say the Eagles. That's about the only other team that I honestly feel they can lose against. It would have been the Chargers, but without Antonio Gates, I don't think so. Um, that's their guy. So, and he's not going to be able to play. So, I would say worst 10-6, but I think they're going to go 11-5 uh, in a pedestrian sense, or 12-4 at best. So, those are my season prediction for the Lions. Uh, let's look at this roster right quick. Got the depth chart that they finally released. It's still not a lock though, but I'm just run through a few positions. Of course, Stafford is starting. Um, you got Calvin Johnson as the number one receiver, but he's Fuller will be coming in behind Johnson. So um, I mean, Fuller is improving a lot. I really like Fuller. he's starting to gain a lot of confidence, and trying to make big plays. So uh, you got Calvin and Fuller. Then at the second wide receiver, you got Tate and Lance Moore. Lance Moore know the system. He showed that during preseason. He know the system, so that's a great complimentary player to back up Golden Tate. Um, and then of course at the fifth and the sixth receiver, you got T.J. Jones and you got Salas, depending on when he comes back. So their receiving core is pretty good to me. Still hate that Ryan Broyles had to leave, but he couldn't stay healthy. So I mean, same scenario with Reggie Bush. So I mean, it is what it is. Running back, you got Bell, Reddick, Amir, and then Zenner. I don't think that's going to stick. I think Amir is going to displace Reddick. Um, Bell, of course, is going to start because of his overall work last season. So Amir is going to have to take that position. I think he can. I'm not saying he will, though. Um, but I believe that Amir will be the number two running back, and they pretty much split carries between him and Bell. And Reddick would be the guy for similar certain plays, end zone plays, stuff like that. So, and of course, I'm happy that they got Zenner. I feel like Zenner is good to have just in case Bell can't stay healthy. You still have somebody with power. So um, they have two certain types of running backs. You have your power, and then you have your speed and elusive, and that's Bell and Zenner. And then of course you got Amir and Reddick. So that's a good combination right there. Um, Fullback, you got Burton. They like to run with a fullback in this offense, so we'll see what he can do. Your offensive line, you got at right guard, you got Warford, followed by Boggs. You got Swanson at center. Manny Ramirez could be, in rotation with him, but they have him at right guard. So um, once Lakeland Tomlinson proved that he can play right guard, I believe that Manning would be going between center and right guard. So right tackle, you got Waddle and Lucas, and at left tackle, you got Riley and Robinson. So I mean, the offensive line is improved this year. I feel like they definitely have a better chance with that offensive line improving, especially for the run game and protecting Matthew Stafford. I mean, let's just be honest. Matthew Stafford haven't had a good offensive line since he's been here. A lot of people give him a lot of flack about, oh, Stafford, this, that, and this. Well, when you say hiking, you got to throw the ball in 2 seconds, then let's see how great you are. When the Lions had somewhat of a offensive line, he threw for 5,000 yards that year. So, I mean, people just need to back off of Stafford, man. You have to look at the circumstances before you can judge this quarterback. Because I can guarantee you last year, if Matthew Stafford had the offensive line of Dallas or Green Bay, uh, this conversation probably would be a little bit different. Our offensive line was good last year, but it wasn't Romo's or it wasn't Aaron Rodgers. I watched a game last year. Aaron Rodgers stood in the damn pocket for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Just waiting around to see who can get open. 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You have to factor in the offensive line when it comes to quarterbacks. So, I mean, I feel like Stafford never really had a great offensive line. So, they're going to be pretty good this year. So, we're going to see what's happening, man. Um, but on the other note, you got a tight end, you got Brandon Pettigrew, of course, and Eric Ebron. And then you got Tim Wright. Tim Wright is who replaced Joseph Fourier. A lot of people upset about that move, but Joseph Fourier just can't stay healthy. He's a red zone threat, yes, but he can't stay healthy. And we need players to stay healthy. If we're serious about going in the playoffs and winning a playoff game, we need players who are durable. And Tim Wright's rookie season, I believe, was uh, just as good as Joseph Fourier. I think he had like something like 6 touchdowns, but he had more yards and catches. And he's very smart. Picks up offenses very fast. So that's always good, especially with your tight end. If your tight end can pick up things pretty good, then you got some gold. So, um, moving on to the defense. Defensive end. Of course, you got Jason Jones and Anza on left and right. So, um, their backups, Daryl Tapp, Devin Taylor, and Philip Hunt. Um, I mean, at defensive end, I feel like we got a really good. I mean, we got some guys that can get that quarterback. Um, and I think Anza is going to have a breakout season this year. Not just because of it's his third season, but I think he's going to have a breakout season. He's healthy, um, and that's a factor. But I feel like we got a pretty good core at defensive end. Um, and then at defensive tackle, of course, we got Nada and we got Walker, we got Reed, we got. I'm not proving. I mean, I'm not right. I'm not buying right too much. And for him to wear number 90, man, come on, man. You should have chose something else. I mean, where you're not even within the smelling range of Dominican Sue. You should have chose another number. Um, but I feel like Wright should be behind Cudjoe. And, a lot of people probably going to look at this video like, what? And I'm like, I mean, I know it was preseason, but Cudjoe can get his ass in the backyard. And I'm calling him Cudjoe because that's how he said it's pronounced. I thought it was Cujo. I'd rather call him Cujo because that's exactly what he, brings to thought when you see how he get after that damn quarterback. So uh, I think Cujo should be ahead of Wright. Um, and that's how it is, man. I mean, Wright haven't showed me nothing. So I mean, he should be in my mind number 5. But that's not where they have him for right now. Like I said, this thing might not stick, so I don't know, man. Linebacker, of course, you got Levy, Tully, and Whitehead. Um, but behind them, you have Van Noy, Lewis, Bynes, and Copeland. So Bynes and uh, Lewis, I feel like are pretty good. Van Noy had a final showing that was pretty good, um, but we just haven't had a chance to see him as much. So I just don't know. Um, Hopefully, he's the player that we thought he was, and hopefully, he can stay healthy. So, at linebacker, I feel like we got a nice core at linebacker. It's good to see Tully back, man. Uh, helping stuff that run, um, and putting his hands on some people. So, with him and Levy, that's always a plus. Let me go ahead and get on through this roster, man. I don't want this video to exceed 20 minutes. Safety ahead of Bo and Don Carey. And at free safety, of course, you got Quinn and it's his name, Issa Abdul Kudus. I said it right, but man, it's a lot of name. But then you got Mathis and you got Slay at corner. But then this year, finally, you got Nevin Lawson, and then you got Wilson, then you got Quandre Diggs, and hopefully Alex Carter can get back because I heard a lot of noise about him. So Um, as far as our defense, I don't think our defense will get worse. I actually believe it will be the same as last year. I mean, we lost Sue, and a lot of people like to include Fairley, but clearly, I mean, Fairley played like 2 games a season, so that's not really a factor. I feel like they would be either the same or better this year, especially with Terrell Austin. So, I mean, that's your roster for this season for the Lions. And those are my predictions, man. I believe the Lions will go 11-5 or 12-4, 10-6 at worst. That's what I got for this season. In this first game against the Chargers, I feel like the Lions are going to kick the Chargers' ass, and that's straight up and down. Um, I mean, it's not for someone to agree or disagree, but if you do, that's fine. uh, leave it in the comments like I always tell people, and we can, debate and go head to head about it. But if you agree, I really appreciate it if you comment. If you comment, like, and maybe even subscribe if you feel like you like the video footage that I'm giving you. So um, I want to give a shout out to my Detroit family, man. 313 Hitman. I appreciate the shout outs, man. Um, the Ace Taker. You gotta, we trying to build a community, and I also want to try to build something on Facebook. I'm gonna be building me a Facebook page, man, for Detroit Lions fans. I want to try to build a community, so we can go ahead and get rid of these fake Lions fans, man. They want to jump on and jump off. I mean, we'd have been through the struggle, but you got to be a Lions fan at heart, no matter what. So, I mean, I just want to get a community going. So, I mean, but that's just the idea, man. You know, I know a few of my guys gonna watch this video, so, and girls. So, let me know what y'all think about that, man. We can come up with something, get a Facebook page rolling, and start getting some stuff out here. So, uh, that's my conclusion to this video, man. I catch up with y'all later on this week, man. After the Lions whoop the Chargers' ass. I hope I don't have to eat my words after saying that, but I'll catch up with y'all later, man. I'll see y'all later on. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And also follow me on Facebook. I follow back immediately when someone follows me on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, Twitter. What am I saying? Twitter or Instagram. My name is the same on Twitter, Instagram, um, and I also have been using Periscope. I don't know if a lot of people use Periscope, but Periscope, Snapchat is all the same. Everything King. I have the same name, and I want to try to keep that consistent. So, I mean, like I said, you get a chance, just send me a follow, man. I'll follow back immediately. So we got to support each other as being Lions fans. And that's it, man. I guess I'll catch up with y'all guys later on this week. Uh, Peace, man.